As the fiercest predators in the ocean, sharks have long been feared and misunderstood. But for the Addison family, which runs a marine expedition company in South Africa, sharks are the family business. And joining me now, Mark, Gail, and 9-year-old Ella Addison. Good morning to all of you. Well, we're going to talk to you, Ella, in a moment about you swimming with sharks. But first, I got to ask your dad, Mark, what's extraordinary about what you do is you actually swim with these sharks without cages. Isn't that dangerous?
No, I think cages spread fear, not understanding, and we've spent most of the best part of our lives trying to understand these animals better. So I feel confident that without cages is certainly the way forward. What
kinds of sharks do you encounter in South Africa?
Well, we have a fantastic array of sharks in South Africa, from great whites through to the tigers, the bulls, all the big and hairies, and of course there are over 100 species that you could interact with on our coast in the coastal waters. So, you know, not all of them big and dangerous, many of them very small, but very vital in the ecosystem.
Well, I know, Mark, you swim with the sharks. Gail, you do too. And Ella, since 5-year-old, you've been swimming with sharks too, right?
Yes.
Why do you like to do it?
Because they're amazing, and I can.
Now, are you afraid ever when you're in the water there and you see them?
No. The first time I got in, I was, but then I've been fine ever since.
Now, if I understand it right, the first time you got in, you forgot to ask Mom and Dad if it was okay. You just jumped right in, right?
Yes.
Well, what happened? Why did you decide to do that?
Because I couldn't handle just sitting on the boat and doing nothing.
Well, Gail, I know you thought as a mom there was a foregone conclusion that someday Ella would be swimming with the sharks, but did you think it would be so soon at 5 years old?
No, they were given strict instructions on that particular day that Ella wasn't even allowed to go on the boat. I knew she wouldn't be able to sit there and watch her god sister swim with the sharks and not her do it. So she was told she wasn't allowed to go, and they begged and begged, and they went. And only when they got home did it come out.
They confessed.
Well, under duress, because the whole deal was how they're going to hide
Mark,
her.
you still look a little afraid to have to confront Mom about that Ella was in the water with sharks.
I don't think the danger's in the water. That day, the danger was certainly on the beach when we arrived back.
Well, you know, we laugh about it a little bit, but these are animals. They're unpredictable by their very nature. And some might be watching this and saying, wait a minute, I don't care how experienced you are, to have a little girl in the ocean with these predators is too much of a risk. What would be your response?
No, true. When that first happened, it certainly wasn't my intention. It was an impromptu experience from Ella's point of view. And, you know, I'd have said as a parent, you know, from 10 years of age, that might be responsible. She proved us all wrong. You know, she proved that at that age it's possible. I have implicit faith in the animals, and obviously it's with certain controls and protocols in place, it's definitely safe to interact with these animals. And in our case, you know, with Ella, she'll take that baton forward. We found the sharks. She needs to do a lot more.
Ella, what's the most important thing to remember if you're swimming with sharks?
To keep your hands under your arms like this, or the back.
Why is that?
Because they could think you bait and then by accident come and bite you.
And I know, Gail, your theory is that actually Ella's learned a lot of skills other than the obvious ones just by being able to swim with these creatures.
Well, it definitely teaches discipline, because you don't get a second chance to say, oh, sorry, Mom, I should have kept my hands away, or sorry, Mom, I should have done this. So the instruction has to be followed first time, straight up. And you also have your child's undivided attention. How many parents have that? So it is wonderful. No, but Ella works with a lot of animals, and animals are very good for teaching children how to behave.
All right, well, Ella, it's great to meet you. And Jack, your little penguin here, and Mark and Gail, thanks for coming all the way from South Africa. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, guys. It's been a great privilege.